thinking, like, for your perspective, like, if you took them down, then they're probably like, all right, we got you for next week, but, like, how far does that go? I don't know how your relationship stands with 3 of them.
Right. And that's where it's also, like, just with how few bestie pairs will remain if it doesn't end next week. It's like, well, you may say that I'm safe, but you may literally have no option but to put me up. Or it's going to be between me and one other group, and maybe there's your best friend in that other group, and like, I can't risk that. So that's why it's hard to, like, make those kind of deals just with this twist. So
yeah, and for my personal game, like, when I was thinking about, like, Daniel and Monte's conversation, somehow I was brought up in it. I don't know if you heard their, like, when they were talking in the kitchen, but the whole argument was about how Daniel and Monte had a conversation before the veto, and Monte told him not to use it because I was his target. So that's what they said in front of the house. So that doesn't make me feel great about Monte. Monte never talked to me about it. So if it really wasn't true, in my personal opinion, I feel like he'd be like, hey, Alyssa, can I talk to you a second? Like, whatever Daniel said was, like, out of his ass.
Oh, and he didn't pull you aside.
He hasn't said a word to me at all.
Oh.
He hasn't even said anything since Amira left. I mean, I told you that he, like, looked me in the eyes and he lied to me, and then he pulled me aside after and was like, hey, I'm sorry. I just couldn't tell you. But it's like, if we were in, and we were in that alliance and you just felt like you just couldn't tell me, and then you put me on the block, obviously you're not wanting or willing to work with me.
Yeah.
So that's what I see from that. And I know that that conversation with Daniel happened, because why would Daniel make that up? Like, why would he bring that up? Why would he put that target on his back? I don't know why Monte would want me out. I'm assuming maybe he either thought I was, like, close with Amira and we didn't have his back, or he thought I, like, was the one who leaked it, which definitely was not the case at all.
Yeah. I wonder if he thought that because Nicole thought that, at least initially. I don't know if she, but, like, her first reaction to hearing, she was like, well, it had to have been Alyssa. And I was just like, okay, like, based on, and, like, there's nothing. But, so I don't know if she told Monte that as well, or...
And he thought that somehow, but, like, I would never do that. And that's what I wanted to ride out, like, post back until the game was over. And now after, like, seeing what happened, hearing that conversation, seeing him put me up, and then knowing that he wanted to keep them the same just to get me out, just makes me feel like, why, I don't need you in this game. I mean, Daniel was already said that, okay, he could, like, win this game, which is true. I haven't seen him try 100% in any competition, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's true, but I haven't felt like that. I felt like I haven't heard him talk, like, serious, like, game moves, or, like, all right, let's move forward. It's like, yeah, I haven't heard anything like that, so that makes me question that. So, and then I know that he has Joseph, like,
everyone
die.
Can see that,
And he has said that multiple times, like, I'll never, ever, ever vote him out. Like, that is my rock in this game. And I know he has Terrence, and I know he has, like, a good social game. So if you were considering, like, not using and keeping it the same, I would support that decision if it was talked about. But it's obviously your HOH, and I want you to make the best decision for your game. And if you're like, all right, the best decision is to, like, take them off and put Daniel up, then I'm like, okay, I understand that. But from my perspective, I think that he's a big threat. And I feel like later in the game, he could be, like, an emotional... I don't really think he would, like, vote for the winner, like, oh, wow, they did good. I feel like if Joe was up there, he'd be like, that's my bro. I'm going to vote for him as the winner. In jury, because I think about people in jury as well, you know, and Daniel's more of, like, I'm here for the game. Like, you know how he is about the rules, the production and stuff. Like, he's very, like, game-oriented. And Nicole was, too. It was a shame that it worked out the way it did with her, because I really appreciate people who, like, know the game and want to play it, because I feel like you're like that too, instead of, because that's how everyone always ends up, like, bitter jury members, and you're like, oh, I liked this person better, but that's just not what it's about while you're here, you know what I mean? So that was just my take on everything, but I know you have a full, like, night tonight, full day tomorrow, and then the ceremony. Just think every single option through.
I think there's a lot to think about, and I kind of was like, I'm just going to wait to see what happens with the veto, because, like, you know, maybe I don't even really have much of an option based on who wins, who gets picked to play, and what happens. So now that I have options, it's like, okay, I definitely want to talk to everyone again and see where people are at. But it's good to know that there's support, because it's like, obviously, I think everyone sees how big of a threat that Monte is. And things are lined up right now, potentially. And it's like, do we get a shot like that again?